Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Your favorite season is back, and now's the time you can score savings at the Team Automotive Group. You can sell your vehicle to us, and we'll pay you top value. Or buy here and get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Score VIP service and save at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hello and welcome as we start the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Here's hoping all is well with you and yours in your little slice of South Louisiana heaven since the last opportunity we had to spend a little time with you and yours. The state of Florida is preparing for landfall from Hurricane Ian. It is a very stark reminder of what we face all along the Gulf Coast each and every year right about this time of the year. It is anticipated that Ian could be a Cat 4 when it makes landfall in the Tampa Bay area. Tampa and St. Pete, it is expected, will get their first direct hit from a major hurricane in 101 years. And of course, living here in South Louisiana, we are all too familiar with hurricanes and the damage that can be inflicted as a result of Mother Nature unleashing her wrath on the Gulf Coast. It is sadly also yet another instance where we get to see the best that humanity has to offer and, of course, the worst that humanity has to offer. I don't need to tell you that in the immediate aftermath of this storm coming through, that there are going to be all sorts of folks, and it pains me to say this, but history has proven this 100% accurate. There are going to be all sorts of folks that are looking to capitalize on the misery inflicted on our fellow Americans in the Sunshine State. It is as sad a commentary as you will ever encounter. I say this because understanding how we have been ravaged in recent memory by hurricanes, we know that there are folks out there that look for things like this to try and separate you from your hard-earned money. Folks out there are going to take this one on the chin if it ends up being a Category 4. So far, it is expected just in the Tampa-St. Pete area, 300,000 people will be evacuated. And of course, storm surge could reach as high as 10 feet. Rainfall anywhere from 16 to 20 inches. If you know anything about the Tampa-St. Pete area, you know that there are just tons of areas that can be inundated when water comes ashore, the likes of what we're talking about in the storm surge here. So far, if memory serves correct, just over 3,500 National Guardsmen have already been mobilized for the immediate aftermath of Ian coming ashore, and some 25,000 electric workers have already been pre-positioned to deal with power outages and things of that nature. I know for a fact that there are any number of people watching right now that, and people of faith, y'all forgive me for saying it this way, but it is the reality of the day. They don't want nothing to do with that Jesus stuff. But I got to tell you, I feel fairly certain in saying that the good folks in the Sunshine State, the state of Florida, would not mind in the least if you were to be so kind as to keep them in both your thoughts and your prayers. It's amazing how people that don't want nothing to do with that Jesus stuff, how when catastrophe strikes, how they're open to all sorts of things. So, again, if you are a member of the community of faith, please be so kind as to keep those folks in your thoughts and in your prayers. And, again, word to the wise, you're going to see all sorts of efforts to help the victims in the immediate aftermath. We know all too well that not everybody out there that claims if you give us some of your hard-earned money, we're going to help the folks that were impacted. Do your research, guys, girls, before you make that donation to whatever charity it is claiming to help folks that have been victimized by Mother Nature. The only thing worse than not giving when you can is giving and having that money end up in some shyster's pocket. On any given day, this time of year, it could be us. And when all is said and done, I understand that there are folks out there that are hesitant about giving because they don't know where the money's going to go. Well, at the end of the day, as a man of faith, I am of the opinion God knows where your heart is. So, as always, we never ask that you give until it hurts. All we ask is that you give. Meanwhile, here in Louisiana, let this be a wake-up call. If you've not already done so, with all the storms that are lined up out in the tropics, go ahead and get your house in order. As far as hurricane supply kit, making the necessary preparations, because again, if you look out into the Atlantic, they are lined up out there. And on any given day, at any given time, who knows? It may be our turn, God forbid, yet again. In Louisiana news, there is a move afoot, and you kind of had to know that this was coming. In the wake of virtual learning, school lockdowns, closures, et cetera, as if we didn't already have this problem, we now know with certainty that we have a literacy crisis in the lower grades in our schools. K through fourth grade in Louisiana, we have so many kids that are reading below grade level that it's scary. And statistically speaking, a child that falls behind this early in their educational career is way behind the 8 ball for the rest of their educational experience. As a result, there are some folks that are trying to head this off at the pass, for lack of a better phrase. The Department of Education and state legislators, as well as educators, are proposing that this summer, if you have a child in grades K through 4 that is not reading at the level where they should, they may have to undergo 30 hours this summer of additional literacy training. In a state like ours, y'all, where education is the number one vehicle for people to extricate themselves from poverty, this is something that's not acceptable. It's just not. And you can blame it on the pandemic. You can blame it on substandard education. You can blame it on anything you want to blame it on. But at the end of the day, a child that is reading below grade level ends up being a hindrance on society in general. I don't know what it's going to take for us to finally grab this proverbial bull by the horns, but in a state like ours, we can't afford stuff like this. Now, I've got to imagine there's going to be some blowback. Clarence, we don't need to have the kids in school year-round. Well, if you look around the planet, we are so far behind in that regard, and all you have to do is look at educational attainment and test scores around the planet. There was a time when our country led the entire industrialized world. It's embarrassing how far behind other industrialized countries we've now fallen. And when you talk about a state like ours, the myriad of problems that we've had for quite some time now, this is one that we can fix. I understand life is a funny thing. There are all sorts of things that on a day-to-day basis, you and I can't do a single thing about it. This is not one of them, y'all. It's not. And when all is said and done, if we ever hope to extricate ourselves from the problems that continue to plague us, we've got to have an educated workforce. There's no two ways around that. And the fact of the matter is, if you are the head of a Fortune 500 company and you're looking for a place to expand your business or relocate your business to, the first thing you're going to look at is the level of educational attainment. You want to be sure that the people you hire are able to understand what your business is all about. And that, of course, starts with reading. If we cannot produce a workforce capable of competing with others, well, you know where that eventually leaves us. We're going to keep an eye on this because the ramifications involved here are frightening. And if we don't do this now and try to catch up as soon as possible, we're talking ramifications that could be felt for years, if not generations to come. First break of the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. When we come back, segment 2, Tuesday. You know what that means, right? Yep, it is time for another edition of Now That's Just Stupid. That's next when we continue today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
The 2022 Mazda CX-5 with iActive all-wheel drive and available turbo engine. It truly ignites the senses.
Save on your new CX-5 right now during the season of discovery at Team Mazda.
Hi, gang. Clarence Bugs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Bugs Show.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Welcome back to the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. It has become one of my most favorite segments. If you are wondering what we're talking about, the second segment of the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bug Show is always dedicated to, now that's just stupid, but the graphic that we will show you on screen is that this is not your ordinary everyday STUPID. That's just run-of-the-mill stupid. What we're talking about here requires a new spelling and a new word, as the graphic shows you. STOOPID. As in, now that's just stupid. We're talking, way up here level stupid. This week, we start right here at home. Have you seen this story? The Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office, and again, there is the presumption of innocence. You are innocent until proven guilty. But the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office has arrested 33-year-old Nicole Stevens. She allegedly attempted to get a friend of hers, 39-year-old Sarah Clark, out of jail. Did she raise the bail money using some fraudulent means? No. She instead, according to law enforcement, pretended to be a sheriff's deputy over the phone and submitted fake paperwork to get her friend out of jail. I guess the true measure of a friend, we used to say a real friend is one you can call 3 o'clock in the morning and say, man, look, I just did something really, really stupid. I need some bail money. And your friend says, all right, let me grab my pants. I'm on the way. In later years, that morphed into a real friend will go to jail for you. Now, I'm going to tell y'all right now. I got a lot of people I consider, well, not a lot, because my father taught me early in life, you don't need a whole lot of friends. You just need a few good friends. But for those that I consider to be good friends, I ain't going to jail for you, bruh. I'm sorry. I love you like a brother, but whatever that is that you did, Marty, you're going to have to answer for that one yourself, okay? So needless to say, both of them are now in jail together. I guess that's only fitting, you know, if you're willing to do all this to get them out. When you get busted, you deserve to go to jail right along with them. Miss Stevens is now facing, in East Baton Rouge Parish Prison, charges of conspiracy for forgery, conspiracy to injure public records, conspiracy to simple escape, conspiracy to computer fraud, and conspiracy to commit impersonation of a police officer. That's a friend. Or that's just stupid. Speaking of stupid people and the state of Florida, maybe they thought with an impending hurricane they could pull this off. Florida man. Actually, Florida men. 2 Florida residents arrested last week after shipping 87 pounds of marijuana, wait for it, by UPS. 87 pounds of marijuana. And you ship it through UPS? They were the cheapest, right. Why not? Apparently they didn't check Amazon or FedEx or whomever. Here's a clue, y'all. Nationwide and international shipping agencies, FedEx, UPS, whomever, they have tracking numbers. Every single package that they ship, they can tell you pretty much any minute of any day where the package is, who sent the package, and who is scheduled to receive the package. And these 2 Florida men thought it was a good idea to ship their 87 pounds of marijuana by UPS. You cannot make this stuff up. What you in for, bro? They caught me with a bunch of weed. How much? 87 pounds. Well, how'd they catch you? At the UPS office. Just when you think we cannot get any more stupid, along comes these 2 guys. Of course, now, you could also make the argument that they are simply taking cues from the leadership in our country. For example, we all know anyone who's been paying any attention at all understands our border, southern border, is under siege. Figures range anywhere from 3 to 5 million people have walked across our border illegally, set up shop, and are just going about their daily lives like they are legal citizens here. The Department of Homeland Security has been coming increasingly under fire for their handling of the situation. So last week, the Department of Homeland Security put out a press release. Were they talking about efforts to stop this flood of illegal immigrants? No. Were they talking about their efforts on behalf of the American public to stop criminals and suspected terrorists from coming across the southern border? No. The Department of Homeland Security last week made a big to-do announcing, wait for it, they have become the first federal agency to go with all electric vehicles. Really? So let me get this straight. You are allowing millions of people to come across our border illegally, shipping them all around the country in the dead of night, not telling mayors, governors, councils where they're coming from or where they're going, by the millions. And you then come before the American people with your chest stuck out to brag on the fact that we're using all electric cars now. In the next segment, we're going to talk about the number of people, Democrats, mind you, that don't want Joe Biden to run again for president. You think maybe stuff like this has a little something to do with that? Not a press conference to talk about, yeah, we know, y'all have seen the video, we understand that there's a problem at the border. Not a press conference to, well, here's the new plan that the border czar, Kamala Harris, has come up with to curtail all this illegal immigration at the border. Not a press conference to talk about how the dozens of people on the terrorism watch list that have come across our border, how we're going to fix this. Nah. They hold a press conference and a big release to come along with it that, by golly, we're the first agency to switch to all electric cars. Is that what you voted for? Didn't think so. If you did, join the club, because you just stupid. Bottom of the hour break. When we come back, I want to talk about the American public, and particularly Democrats, and how they feel about the direction our country is heading in. That's next, when we continue today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Your favorite season is back, and now's the time you can score savings at the Team Automotive Group. You can sell your vehicle to us, and we'll pay you top value. Or buy here and get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Score VIP service and save at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Hi, I'm Katie, Operation Manager here at Old School Barbecue. We're excited about all of the changes here at Old School, And we'd like to invite everyone to come out and enjoy some delicious barbecue at old school prices. We feature brisket, chicken, ribs, sausage, and the Boss Hog pulled pork sandwich voted best deal in town. We also have live music Friday and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. 10655 Coursey Boulevard. We can't wait to see you.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Caught spiders?
Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. You know, in recent memory, the American public has become increasingly concerned, and rightfully so, about crime all across the country. We've seen with alarming frequency cities all across America ravaged by the criminal element. Just this past week, in the city of brotherly love, over 100 young people descend on a store and just ravage the place, tear the place to shreds. What I found interesting in all of that is that this was a store in a black neighborhood. The more than 100 people that just walked in, started taking stuff, destroying property, and the like. 99.9% African American. And this was not in response to any event. We've sadly become accustomed to something happening involving a white person and a black person, and the black community gets all up in arms and starts rioting, looting, burning, whatever. There was nothing like that here. This over 100 young people with nothing better to do, apparently, just decided to go in and destroy this business. Now, if the business closes and the owners decide, you know what, we're not going to rebuild, because after all, we can't take these kinds of losses. We're not in business for that. If and when they decide that, then the black community is going to accuse the business community of being, wait for it, racist. So in response to the exploding crime problem in our country, our government yesterday decided to spend a new, additional $457 million of your tax dollars for law enforcement in Ukraine. You heard me right. $457.5 million of your money for law enforcement in Ukraine. This is in addition to the, how many billions now have we sent Ukraine, Marty?
I don't have enough fingers.
You don't have enough fingers. Fingers or toes. I know for a fact it's over 50 billion. And yesterday, for law enforcement in Ukraine, we sent $457.5 million for law enforcement. Meanwhile, this past weekend, over 60 people shot in Chicago. Yeah, that's all. They're working on it. They're getting the numbers down. And the White House, when pressed on crime recently, what did Karine Jean-Pierre tell the media? Well, it's complicated. No, it's not. Lock these criminals up. Enforce the rule of law. Do away with this. Ooh, it almost slipped out just now. It almost came. It had come up and was getting ready to come out. This foolishness of bail reform. Now, on a good day, fighting crime would be a noble gesture. But you know what's ironic here? And this, in no uncertain terms, should show you the hypocrisy and the lunacy of our government. This is the same group of people, Democrats / liberals / progressives. These are the same people that pushed in this country defund the police. You see how they play you? They went around convincing people we need to take money away from law enforcement. But they just sent $457 million to law enforcement in another country, while our cities are being overrun by criminals. That, my fellow Americans, should tell you everything you need to know. I don't know about you, but I can think of 10, 15, 20 cities right off the top of my head that could use $457 million to help out the police in those cities. Portland, Seattle, Oakland, LA, San Francisco, Las Vegas, Kansas City, Mobile, Birmingham, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Newark, Chicago, Detroit. Do I need to continue? The same people that fed you that line of crap about defund the police turn right around and send $500 million of your dollars to Ukraine for law enforcement. You can't make this stuff up. Of course now, that's probably why brand new Ipsos poll released yesterday. Only 35% of Democrats, not conservatives, not independents, only 35% of Democrats want Joe Biden to run for re-election. Actually, it's 3.5%. They just dropped the point in there. Can you believe these clowns? After pushing relentlessly, defund the police, reimagine policing, they turn around and send $457.5 million of your tax dollars halfway around the freaking planet to Ukraine. It might be funny if it weren't so tragically stupid. If you take into account the problems facing our country, take the $85 billion in military hardware that the Biden-Harris administration left in Afghanistan, take the in excess of 50 some odd billion that we've sent already to Ukraine. Can you imagine what could have been done in this country? And sadly, this is your money. How many times do I have to tell you? The federal government has no money. The only money they have is the money they get by reaching their grubby little fingers in your pocket every time you get a paycheck and taking it out. They don't produce one single thing, a good or service, well, unless you count running up debt as a service. They don't produce one single thing that you can put on a shelf and sell it for a profit to make money. The only money they have is the money they take from you. And these are the same people that have been telling you over and over and over and over and over and over again, police don't need this money. We need to defund the police. And just this week, right at $500 million of your tax dollars shipped halfway around the freaking planet for law enforcement in Ukraine. You can't make this up, y'all. You can't make it up. Even Democrats are waking up. What's the old saying? My, how the mighty have fallen. Here's a guy, the media will have you believe, 81 million people voted for, the most in the history of this country. And in 2 years, only 35% of Democrats want to see him run again. You see how they play you? You see how you've been played, huh? But at least we don't have to put up with mean tweets anymore. Jane. You caught that, huh? Final break of today's show. We'll get her done, come back, put that big old pretty bow on this puppy, and wrap up Today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back to the final segment of the Tuesday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. The back and forth and back and forth and back and forth over transferring the most violent juveniles from the Bridge City Juvenile Detention Center has taken another step this week. We now find out that it may be put on hold, but not because of a reason you're thinking. As you know, a lawsuit's been filed. It's working its way through the courts. But staffing seems to be a problem at Angola. For those of you that don't know, if this ends up happening, it is reported by corrections officials that these young people that will be transferred to Angola will be more than a mile away from the regular inmate population. Recently, lawsuit was filed, And a federal judge on last Friday refused to block the transfer. Chief U.S. District Judge Shelley Dick made it clear in a multi-page ruling. I want to say it was 60, 64, 65 pages long, that while she has a problem with transferring juveniles to Angola, ultimately, as it should be, the public's concern and right for safety should be paramount. Quote, "The prospect of putting a teenager to bed at night in a locked cell behind razor wire, surrounded by swamps at Angola, is disturbing. Some of the children in OJJ's care, Office of Juvenile Justice, are so traumatized and emotionally and psychologically disturbed that OJJ is virtually unable to provide a secure care environment." Here's the rub. The quote continues. "While locking children in cells at night at Angola is untenable, the threat of harm these youngsters present to themselves and others is intolerable. The untenable must yield to the intolerable." Thank God, a judge with some sense. Thank you, God. We got a judge with some sense. Now, this needs to be a wake-up call. And listen, I get it. I understand. Class, them grown criminals up there in Angola. I get it. But this is where these juveniles are heading. This is where they're heading. If they continue down the road they're on, that's where they're going to end up. Maybe this is the wake-up call they need. If you go back and review the history of these young people, you can ascertain real quick that, English teachers, forgive me, in 3, 2, 1, this ain't their first rodeo. They have been on this road for a while. And if this is what it takes to get their attention, well, so be it. You have had countless opportunities before now to get off the road that you're on. We have tried over and over and over and over and over again to show you the error of your ways. And for whatever reason, you've refused to pay attention. Well, now we've arrived at a point in time where public safety is the number one priority and the number one concern. The good, decent, God-fearing folks of this state deserve to be able to go to sleep at night, be able to go to the grocery store, be able to go to work, and not have to worry about keeping your head on a swivel at the red light, because God only knows when some 15-year-old punk is going to stick a gun in your face and demand your car and your cell phone. We deserve better. And at the end of the day, if you have kids that are heading down this road, this is the wake-up call for you and for them. Now is the time to get your house in order. Because if not, this is where you're heading. This is where you're going. And lest we forget, this is not just clear out of the blue. Some bureaucrat decided, you know what? We need to take these kids out of this facility and let's put them in Angola. That's not how this happened, y'all. That is not how this happened. These young people showed us in no uncertain terms they either do not possess the ability or they are totally unwilling to live by the rules of a civilized society. My late father, God bless him, with every passing day, I see the wisdom that that man had. He instilled in his children early on, somebody has to be in charge. It's a simple fact of life. If someone is not in charge, human beings, being what human beings are, will take advantage of it. And we have watched it now with the ages of juvenile offenders get lower and lower and lower and lower. It's nothing now to see a 14, 15, in some cases a 13-year-old will pull a gun on someone, rob them, or shoot them. At some point, y'all, we got to send a message. We are not going to put up with this crap anymore. At some point, we have to stop making excuses. Well, you know, they came from a broken home and, you know, and they this and they that and they the other. No, they need to be at Angola. Maybe, just maybe, the prospect of finding yourself waking up next week surrounded by alligators and swampland, and a mile away, convicted murderers, rapists, robbers, and all them folk on death row. Maybe that will be enough to wake these young people up, since apparently their parents aren't able or are unwilling to do their job at home. What's the old saying? You can pay me now or you can pay me later. But anybody that's ever bought anything on credit, they'll tell you it costs you more when you pay later. Some of y'all not going to get that till later, but that's okay as long as at some point you get it. That being said, my time's up and I got to go. But this day, maybe more so than any other day in history, I give it to you. You know what? You're right. America, we are not perfect. But for this old boy's money, it's the best there is, and God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you realize he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Then again, there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you soon. God bless.